Hi there. We all know what it's like to have tension in the family. At the very least, this is shown in the classic major motion pictures, Matilda, National Lampoon's A Christmas Vacation, Hot Rod, and in the tragic 2012 split-up of the beloved couple Mike and Ike. However, I doubt that any of our family quarrels have resulted in one of us joining an enemy nation's military to clap back at our fascist uncle. That's right, today we're going to learn about Hitler. Nope, not that one. That one. William Patrick Hitler, who, for obvious reasons, later changed his name to William Stewart Houston, was the nephew of Adolf Hitler and was a United States Navy corpsman who fought in World War II. William's father, Alois Hitler Jr., was the half-brother of Adolf Hitler. Alois met his wife, Bridget Dowling, in Dublin in 1909. They did what lonely people do and got married, moved to Liverpool, and, brought the al dente noodle to the spaghetti house. And out came William in 1911. When William was just a few years old, his dad said, "Scheiße drauf!" and dipped to go gambling in Europe. He was unable to return to England because of the outbreak of World War I, and so just decided he'd kick it and start a new life in Germany. So that's what he did. He ended up remarrying and had another son. Fun fact, this son's name was Heinz, and he was very different from William. Adolf called him his favorite nephew. Ironically enough, Heinz ended up serving in the German military and dying in a Soviet prison camp in 1942. William visited his father in Germany a couple times after he turned 18, where he would meet his uncle in person. Upon returning, he wrote negative articles about Adolf, which revealed their close relation. As a result of this familial connection, William was promptly fired from his job in England. William then decided he could use his uncle's power to his advantage, and moved to Germany in 1933. He convinced his uncle to get him a couple different jobs, from working as a car salesman to a banker, but he didn't like the jobs he received. So, William threatened to blackmail his uncle if his situation didn't improve. Let me repeat that. William threatened to blackmail mass genocidal madman Adolf Hitler because he didn't like selling cars. The balls. During this time, Adolf liked to refer to William as his loathsome nephew. Some things William had spread about Adolf included calling his uncle flamboyant, feminine, and complaining about how much dirty laundry his uncle had. This only confirms my suspicion that Adolf Hitler was a theater kid. At this point, William had a bit of a target on his back, and things started to get dicey as suddenly Adolf took away his work permit and tried to get him to relinquish his English citizenship. So, William decided to leave Germany. Speaking of the last time he ever saw his uncle, William said, "Adolf was in a brutal temper when I arrived. Walking back and forth, brandishing his horse-side whip, he shouted insults at my head as if he were delivering a political oration. His vengeful brutality on that day made me fear for my physical safety." So clearly, the pair garnered a healthy and wholesome relationship. William fled the country and moved back to England, where he continued to blackmail his uncle, at one point threatening to tell people that Adolf's grandfather was Jewish.
Krankenbrat Frankfurt, mein Wilhelm, Bruder Minken, meine Klange durch Vater Onkel Bratwurst, Doppelganger. Berlin Kindergarten, Nike swoosh. Du mate. Hee ha hoo, your peepaw's a Jew. Nice!
Once back in England, William wrote an article entitled, "Why I Hate My Uncle." It's nice to see that you and William have something in common, just for very different reasons. After spending a short time in England, William and his mother moved to the United States just before the start of World War II, where he went on tour dissing his uncle, performing more successful live shows in a short period than Nirvana did in 20 years. When the war started, William tried to join the U.S. Navy. He was initially rejected from serving, but was able to join in 1944 after sending a letter directly to President Franklin Roosevelt. On William's first day in the military, his induction officer asked him his name. When William replied, "Hitler," the officer thought he was joking and said, "Nice to meet you, I'm Hess." It's nice to know that Redditors were active in the military in the 40s. William then served as a corpsman for a period of 3 years. Near the end of World War II, William was injured in the leg by shrapnel. This would result in him receiving the Purple Heart. He left the military and moved to New York State, where he lived a very quiet life until his death in 1987. He had multiple sons, none of which had any children, proving that, if there's one thing the Hitlers are good at, it's ending a bloodline. Thanks for watching. This is Not Quite History, and I'll see you next time.